worship Jesus. You're talking special Jesus time. So.
I'd like to start out by reminding the Honorable Mr. Schwaber that I have not, in fact, given up killing you for Lent.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go. Talk away.
So, the Episcopal Church. You might have heard about it lately. It's going through some interesting and tough times. I should really be on that side of the screen. So, to really understand what's going on now, you need to understand where it's come from, and also get an idea of what's going on that is not coming from the New York Times, because they get very, very happy when churches start schisming, and because it gives them something to talk about. So I guess we can start at the beginning. The Episcopal Church is a member of the Worldwide Anglican Communion. To go off the slides for a little bit, the Anglican Communion officially was formed when we broke away from the British in 1776. In 1789, when the Episcopal Church was actually the Episcopal Church in the United States was actually founded, we were kind of semi-brought into full communion with the Church of England. There were no bishops over in the United States, so that was a problem at the beginning. Let's see. The way the communion operates is it's a bunch of autonomous churches that have all agreed to work together and are in full communion with the Archbishop of Canterbury. There are 4 instruments of communion. There's the Lambeth Conference, which is a gathering of bishops every 10 years to talk about issues that are facing the church currently. The Archbishop of Canterbury, who is considered primus inter pares, or first among equals, he doesn't have any real power except over the church in England, and to just speak for the church at large. The Anglican Consultative Council meets every 2 years and kind of helps figure out what is going on in communion in between Lambeth conferences. The same thing goes for the primates meeting, which is a meeting of the primates or heads of. Okay, you can laugh now and get it out of your system.
I say.
Yes. Yes.
Do the primates ever go crazy and kill people when they're in captivity?
Are there racist comics drawn about the primates?
No, but Bishop Griswold, the former presiding bishop of the Episcopal Church, has been known to have said that they're going to make monkeys out of all of us when referring to this. They meet also every 2 years to discuss problems that are arising in between the different groups in the community. So back to the beginning of the Episcopal Church, we didn't have bishops. The British didn't feel it was necessary for the colonies to have bishops, and so they didn't send any over to us. So when we split, it was a bit difficult. We couldn't really run ourselves without bishops. We're historically have been governed by the bishops, and so we go over and say, "Will you give us a bishop?" No, because you won't swear allegiance to the crown. It was part of the ordination oaths at that point. And so we, in 1783, Samuel Seabury went over to Scotland and got himself consecrated bishop. The Scottish bishops were considered non-juror at the time, which is they didn't take all of the same oaths at ordination that the bishops in the Church of England did, so they were considered slightly different. But the orders that they had and were able to give were still considered valid. By 1787, the Parliament had changed some of their policies, and we were able to get 2 other bishops consecrated. Let's see. In 1789, we held our first general convention, and this beautiful thing was formed. This is how the church works. We were set up by the same people who wrote the Constitution. So we are governed first and foremost at the parish level. Parishes elect vestries. Vestries send people to diocesan conventions, which meet yearly. Diocesan conventions every 3 years send people to general convention. they send 4 lay deputies and 4 clerical deputies. They are in the House of Deputies. Every bishop in the Episcopal Church gets to go into the House of Bishops. For something to be passed into canon law, it needs to be passed by both houses of General Convention. They elect and appoint an executive council that will run the church in the intervening years, and appoint people to committees, commissions, agencies, and boards, which will present possible legislation at the next convention. There's a whole lot more to talk about here, but I think that's the basic understanding we need for the rest of the talk. Are there any questions on that?
It's like,
Is it-
go over this thing one more time.
Sure.
Yeah. Probably we have no idea what's going on.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, we should turn these lights on.
We don't use that to do anything that Jesus wouldn't approve of.
Is that a point?
Yeah.
Oh, school. Nice.
That's actually pretty awesome.
Nice lighting.
Wait, where did that start?
Jesus.
When God said,
When-
"Let there be light." When Jesus Christ loves to talk very, very much.
Key in the lamps make hot light.
Okay, that was the church.
So the church.
Let's get back to holy things.
So you can actually create an analog between this and how our country works. Consider the parishes to be townships and counties. So a township and a county will elect they'll elect people to their own governing boards and governing bodies. That's going to be an analog to vestries that will run the day-to-day goings on of each individual church. In some places, the parish as a whole will elect delegates to a yearly diocesan convention. The diocese is the equivalent of the state in the church. Chicago is a diocese. Long Island is a diocese. New York City is a diocese. So the diocesan convention meets once a year. It's mandated by the constitutions and canons of the whole church. Yes?
How does one diocese become several dioceses? I don't mean in the sense of having schism from each other, but so where I live, there used to be one diocese for perhaps all of Southern California, and now there are several.
Mhm.
How do you make that change?
So, I was reading those canons today, for some odd reason.
Recycling.
What?
Back to Dale. Back to Dale.
So, if it's decided inside a diocese that this diocese is just getting far too large, it won't work under one governing body anymore, or there's a large geographical area and the commute to various functions would be too large, and there are enough parishes to consider a split. It will be voted on at diocesan convention. I believe that's one of the things that needs to be voted on at 2 consecutive diocesan conventions, and it will be sent to general convention, at which it will be voted on. If they vote on it, the diocese will be split, and there are very interesting methods to decide who gets to keep the bishop.
So it's really like a divorce.
Not a schism. But wait, divorce is what the Anglican Church is really all about.
Back to Neil.
You sit on staff.
Does that answer your question? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the diocesan convention, the general workings of the diocese will be discussed, deliberated, voted on. Budgets will be passed, all sorts of boring things. Every 3 years, the deputies will be elected from the laity and from the clergy in the diocese to go to general convention. And so they will go off and represent the diocese at the national level. General convention is the second largest bicameral legislature in the world, second only to the Parliament of India.